Have you ever stood face to face with someone who tried to break you with words? 1 second you're calm, the next they throw something sharp at you. A sneaky jab, a public insult, a passive-aggressive comment meant to make you feel small. And for a moment, it works. You feel it in your chest, tight, heavy, like a punch you didn't see coming. That sting, it's not just about what they said. It's about the power you gave them the second you started caring. Let's be honest, most people don't insult you because they're strong. They do it because they're weak, insecure, jealous, or just desperate for attention. They want to pull you into their chaos, make you react, flinch, break character. But when you react without thinking, you hand them the script. You become part of their show. And Stoicism? It teaches you to walk off that stage. Think of it like this. You're holding a cup of boiling water. Someone bumps into you. The water spills and burns. Now, you can scream and throw the cup at them, or you can set it down and walk away. That's your choice every time someone insults you. And most people choose wrong. They react. They fire back. They let a single comment control their whole day. They lose sleep replaying it in their head, letting the words echo over and over like a broken record. But let me ask you this. Why let someone's weakness disturb your peace? Why let their noise become your soundtrack? Stoic philosophy isn't about ignoring pain. It's about controlling your power. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. Powerful, right? When someone insults you, you are being given a test. Not to see how loud you can bark back, but how calm you can remain in the storm. Here's a metaphor for you. Imagine walking through heavy rain with an umbrella that keeps flipping inside out. Every gust of wind makes it worse. You're soaked, frustrated, and the umbrella is doing more harm than good. That's what it's like holding on to insults. You're trying to protect yourself, but you're really just making things harder. Let it go. Walk through the storm without the umbrella. You'll notice the rain isn't as bad as you thought. It's your resistance to it that made it unbearable. This video is for the people who are done letting others control their emotions. For those who want to master the art of calm, who want to know how to win without saying a word. You don't fight every battle. You don't need to respond to every fool. Sometimes, silence is the most powerful answer you can give. Today, we'll break down how to handle insults using the ancient wisdom of Stoicism. Simple tools that you can use in real life, starting now. And don't skip the last point. It might change the way you respond to every insult for the rest of your life. So take a breath, sit with me, and let's begin. Because once you learn how to control your response, they lose all control over you. Number 1, pick your battles or let them drown in their own storm. You feel the sting, sharp, unexpected. Someone just said something meant to hurt you, and for a split second, it lands. But here's where everything begins to shift. You pause. You don't react. You simply take a breath. And that breath? It's not weakness. It's power. It's you stepping out of your emotions and giving your mind room to think. In that space, you take control back from the chaos. What do you really gain by snapping back? Do you prove a point? Do you win? Or do you just get pulled into a fight you never needed to be in? Most insults are nothing more than emotional bait, thrown by people who can't manage their own storms. So they try to start one in you. But a wise person doesn't answer every knock at the door. And not every storm deserves your presence. Think of it this way. Imagine someone throwing a stone at you. You can catch it, hold on to it, feel the weight of it, or you can let it drop. Watch it fall harmlessly to the ground. Most insults are just stones, small, heavy, but only if you carry them. Let them go, and they lose their power. They say nothing about your worth. They scream everything about the person throwing them. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's the truth most people miss. You don't control what others say, but you control what enters your heart. The pause between the insult and your reaction is where your strength lives. That's where your peace is protected. That's where your real power begins. So the next time someone tries to drag you into their storm, don't respond, don't defend, just pause. Let them speak, and let the silence swallow their insult whole. Number 2, turn the mirror, not the blade. Have you ever been insulted and felt like you were just punched in the soul? Like someone took aim at the very core of who you are? Maybe they mocked your choices, your lifestyle, your dreams, and for a split second, it stung. Your chest tightens, your pride flares up, and a part of you wants to strike back. It feels personal, deep. But let's pause and break the illusion. The harsh truth is this: most insults aren't about you. They're mirrors, not daggers. People speak from the state of their own minds. A cruel comment is often a reflection of pain, jealousy, or insecurity living inside them. You just happen to be standing close enough to catch the splash. That's all. As Stoicism teaches, it's not what they say that hurts. It's how you decide to take it. Imagine someone holding a cracked mirror and saying, "Look how broken you are." Would you believe them? Of course not. You'd see the cracks aren't yours. They're in their reflection. That's how insults work. They reveal more about the one speaking than the one being spoken to. There's a story about a man named Adrian, humble, hard-working, quiet. At a family gathering, his cousin laughed and said, "You'll never amount to anything living like that. No ambition, no drive." Everyone heard it. The room tensed. Adrian could have snapped, could have explained himself, could have let the insult dig into his skin. But instead he paused. And in that pause he saw clearly, this isn't about me. Adrian recognized his cousin's words weren't aimed at truth. They were fired from fear. Fear of failure. Fear of not having enough. By mocking Adrian's simple life, his cousin was trying to validate his own frantic chase for status and wealth. Adrian smiled gently and replied, "Living simply brings me peace. I hope you find what brings you the same." That's it. No argument, no drama, just truth, calmly delivered. And just like that, the power of the insult faded. His cousin was left facing himself. That's what reframing does. It breaks the cycle. It turns a blade into a mirror and hands it back without bitterness. When someone insults you, a question might pop into your head. Why would they say that? Good. Ask it. But don't ask from a place of pain. Ask from a place of curiosity. Try this instead. What does this say about them? You'll find the answer often has nothing to do with you. Maybe they're insecure about their own path. Maybe they feel threatened by your peace. Maybe they don't even know why they said it. But once you see it's not yours to carry, you free yourself. Epictetus once said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." So change the opinion. Shift the lens. Refuse to hold the insult like a treasure. Let it fall like dust off your shoulder. Think of it like someone tossing a ball at you. You can catch it, let it weigh you down, play their game, throw it back harder, or you can simply let it drop. No reaction, no grip, just a quiet refusal to engage. Here's the truth. The way someone treats you is their reflection. How you respond, that's yours. And your peace, your calm, unshakable center, is far too valuable to be sold for the cheap price of a few angry words. So the next time someone tries to cut you down with an insult, don't sharpen your blade. Just turn the mirror toward them and keep walking. If this spoke to you, like this video, subscribe for more, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Number 3. Let silence do the talking. Have you ever stood in front of someone who tried to drag you into a fight you didn't start, with words meant to cut, provoke, or pull you down to their level? Maybe it was a personal jab, a sarcastic comment, or a loud challenge in front of others. And in that moment, your body tenses. Your pride wants to react. Your mouth is ready to fire back. But here's a hard truth. The louder you get, the more control you lose. Sometimes silence is the sharpest sword. It's tempting to fight fire with fire, to clap back, to defend your honor. But when your words come from emotion, not clarity, they rarely solve anything. They just fuel the flames. Stoic wisdom reminds us that in the middle of a storm, the one who remains calm holds the real power. Silence is not about surrender. It's about restraint, about refusing to let someone else write your story. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And sometimes the strongest reaction is no reaction at all. There's an old story of a Stoic philosopher who was insulted in public by a stranger. The man screamed, mocked, tried to get a rise out of him, but the philosopher stood still, calm as a quiet lake. After a while, the stranger demanded, "Why won't you say something? Defend yourself." The philosopher looked him in the eye and said, "If someone offers you a gift, but you refuse to take it, who does the gift belong to?" Confused, the man replied, "Well, the one who offered it." The philosopher smiled. "Exactly. And I refuse to accept your anger." That's what silence does. It doesn't deny the attack. It denies the attacker control. By staying quiet, you show them their words have no home in you, no fuel, no place to land. It leaves them swinging at air. You might ask, but won't staying silent make me look weak? No, it makes you look untouchable. Weakness is being pulled into every battle. Strength is knowing which ones aren't worth your time. Silence isn't a lack of courage. It's the presence of discipline. Picture someone tossing matches into the wind, hoping one will catch fire. If you throw dry wood at their feet, you help it burn. But if you walk away, the flame dies before it begins. That's how silence works. It starves conflict. It suffocates provocation. It turns their performance into an awkward monologue. And silence doesn't mean you say nothing forever. It means you speak when it serves a purpose, not a reaction. As Epictetus said, if you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity, your peace, your dignity. They don't need a crowd to cheer them on. So when someone tries to poke your pride, stop and ask, am I defending my peace or just feeding my ego? Because most arguments aren't worth winning if you lose your center in the process. You don't owe everyone a reply. You don't owe them your energy. You owe yourself peace. The next time someone comes at you with fire, don't throw gasoline. Let silence be your answer. Let your stillness say what your words never could. I'm not here to entertain your chaos. And just like that, the storm passes. And you're still standing, calm, untouched, and powerful. Number 4. Build a mind that no one can shake. Have you ever heard something so cruel, so targeted, that it felt like a punch straight to the chest? A sharp comment, a quiet dismissal, a public attempt to tear you down. You feel it, the burn, the tightness in your throat, the sting in your pride. And the first instinct is to react, to defend, to prove them wrong. But here's what Stoicism teaches. Their words only hold power if you give them space to live inside you. You might ask, how do I just not care? Am I supposed to feel nothing? Number detachment isn't about not feeling. It's about not falling. It's standing tall in the middle of chaos and saying, you don't get to control how I feel inside. Emotional detachment isn't coldness. It's clarity. There's an old story of a Stoic philosopher walking through the market. A man began yelling insults at him, trying to spark a scene. But the philosopher didn't even flinch. He kept walking as if the man's words were just wind. Later, someone asked him, "How could you stay so calm?" He smiled and said, "If someone offered me rotten fruit, would I eat it? No. Then why accept a rotten thought?" That's what emotional detachment looks like. Refusing to let someone else's bitterness take root in your peace. You may wonder, but won't they think they've won if I stay silent? Let them think what they want. That's their business. Your strength isn't in showing them you're hurt. It's in showing them nothing has moved you. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you detach emotionally, you make the insult powerless. You turn the volume down on their drama and turn your focus inward, on your values, your peace, your purpose. So when someone tries to break you with words, pause. Let it wash over you like rain on stone. Don't absorb it, don't chase it. Just watch it fall and keep walking untouched, because your peace is not up for grabs. Not now, not ever. Number 5, turn the burn into a lesson. When someone insults you, your first instinct might be to fire back or shrink in silence. But what if you saw that moment differently, not as an attack, but as a test, a challenge to see how strong your self-control really is? That's exactly what Julian did. When an older businessman mocked his ideas in front of a crowd, he didn't lash out. He thanked the man, calmly explained his reasoning, and stood tall in his truth. The crowd noticed. Even the critics softened. Julian didn't win by defeating someone. He won by not losing himself. Insults test your ego, your patience, your pride. You might ask, why should I stay calm when I'm being disrespected? The answer is simple. Because peace isn't something you beg for, it's something you protect. As Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Every insult is a mental weight. You either lift it with grace or let it crush your emotions. So next time someone throws words like stones, don't pick them up, step over them, smile. Let your silence, your composure, your self-mastery be the answer. That's how you pass the test, not by reacting, but by rising. Number 6, drop the armor before it weighs you down. Why do some insults hit so hard while others roll right off? It's not about the words themselves, it's about your ego. That voice inside that says, I must defend myself. I must be right. I must be respected. But here's the thing. The more tightly you hold onto your ego, the more fragile you become. An insult only stings when your pride steps in and says, "That shouldn't be said about me." But if you strip away that pride, if you stop needing to be seen a certain way, suddenly there's nothing left for the insult to stick to. The Stoics knew this well. They saw the ego not as strength, but as a burden, a false self built on the need for praise, for validation, for external recognition. Like a balloon trying to rise while being tied to the ground, your ego keeps you heavy, defensive, and reactive. But the moment you cut that string, something changes. You're no longer ruled by how people see you. You're free. You might ask, if I don't defend myself, won't people walk all over me? Choosing peace over pride doesn't mean letting others win. It means not playing their game in the first place. There's a story of a man named Thomas who had a colleague named Mark, someone who constantly belittled his ideas. Every time Mark spoke, it felt like a slap. Until one day, Thomas shared his frustration with an old mentor. The mentor smiled and said, "If someone throws mud at you, don't worry. It only sticks if you try to catch it." That single sentence shifted everything for Thomas. He realized he'd been catching every insult, holding it, analyzing it, when all he needed to do was let it fall. When you let go of your ego, insults lose their gravity. They pass through you like wind through trees. As Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." There's no freedom like the freedom of not needing to prove anything. So next time someone tries to rattle your sense of worth, ask yourself, am I reacting because I'm hurt, or because my ego thinks I should be? Then let it go. Let them talk, and walk away lighter. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.